What's up, Commander fans? This is your boy from Bloodshot Sports. Just want to talk to you a minute about, I know a lot of us is frustrated and all of this and that, but don't get your hopes up too high thinking that if this losing streak continues, that we're getting rid of Ron Rivera. That's the furthest thing from Dan Snyder's radar, and I know I'm not there with Dan Snyder, but right now Dan is more focused on rebranding than probably he is even with winning. So while Ron Rivera is making these roster moves he's making, Dan's not really thinking about it because the only thing Dan is trying to do is stay under the radar. And he has a guy like Ron Rivera. That's why he bought Ron here. He bought Ron here to make a better football team, but he bought Ron in here because Ron's respectable. And he wants the organization to be respectable. Not just from a winning aspect, just from an organizational aspect. So Ron is like the best thing that happened to Dan Snyder for the moment. Not saying that move's gonna happen in the future, but at the end of the year, I wouldn't be surprised, man. If we were to win 6 games, Ron will be here next year. Dan's gonna let Ron figure this out, and then one thing you got to think: Dan Snyder did 10 years with Bruce Allen. So 3 years and Ron's gone, I just don't see that happening. I just don't see that happening at all. I mean, when he fired Norv, that was more or less, Dan just got here. Then when he fired Marty, it was because, Marty didn't want your hands nowhere near in the cookie jar. Spurrier actually left. Joe left. And then we all know the fiasco with Robert Griffin and Mike Shanahan, and Jay Grudy had to have just a terrible season. And then he got rid of him and Bruce at the end of that because it was just embarrassing. I don't see Ron putting embarrassing. Well, no. It's been kind of embarrassing these last couple of weeks. So I don't want to use the word embarrassed loosely. But Ron Rivera's not going anywhere. No time soon. Let's just hope that he could turn this thing around, man, and has the balls to hold guys accountable that's not performing. I mean, if you haven't seen the tape, I advise you to check out the All-22s. I think Louis T has one, and HTR for Life has one. And if you just want to look at the All-22s yourself, go and look at it. And you can see that the offensive line, Carson Wentz and Scott Turner thing was actually all working hand in hand to destroy the offense last week. All three of those things was moving in one motion, like a tire. It was moving in one motion. All the things that make a tire move, all the things that made us play bad football, all three of those things was a combination of Scott Turner, Carson Wentz, and the offensive line. Now, the offensive line, in my eyes, is the main culprit because they was the start of it. But then it was up to Scott and Carson after that to neutralize that. And they didn't do a good job of it. And it scares me even more that we got Dallas coming in this week. And they couldn't block Detroit. You couldn't block Philly, who really wasn't getting a lot of quarterback pressure until they seen us. And now you got Dallas coming in. No, we're going to Dallas. And it just scares me to death to see what Carson Wentz is going to go through next Sunday. Unless Ron makes these adjustments or these one or two moves or this one guy that's might not be doing what he's doing, and that makes the whole thing. If we can't correct that, I see What, Philly had 9 sacks? I see a good 12 to 13 with Dallas coming in this week because our guard play is absolutely horrendous. Our center play was absolutely horrible, and I'm not trying to indict Wes, but, I mean, it was a lot of low snaps. So you get what you get from a tall quarterback, low snaps, and the offensive line isn't giving you even a second to even go through your first progression, let alone your second one. Now, it was some times that Carson didn't pull the trigger that I seen on tape, and he might have held onto the ball a little second too long, and that's why he got a sack. But most of those sacks was on the offensive line. He didn't even have a chance. By then, he was already punch drunk. You get punched so many times, hell, you thinking shit's coming that's not even coming. So that's basically what was going on with that. But, and then we're going to have to ask the defense to give us another game like they got. I seen improvement in the defense. I seen improvement with Jamin Davis. I know a lot of you might not, you know what I'm saying? After that ass whooping, it was hard to assess it. But when I watched the tape, I see Jamin's out there balling. So maybe we'll get this together. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share, hit that bell. More content is definitely on the way. And let's take command.